Hey there, welcome back to Ask Amy. I have a question today from Holly. Holly says, I'm struggling with a scary story that seems to appear whenever I'm feeling anxious. I take the occasional Valium to calm my nerves and a few more than usual for a while because of pressures from lockdown. I have a history of alcoholism, but I've been sober for 11 years. But whenever this story comes up, my mind is spurting scary stories that I'm an addict again and that this is something to take very seriously. When I come back to my default place of calm, clarity, and wisdom, I see that it's all habitual and very believable stories that keep me stuck. I understand that sometimes people need extra support, so I think the pills are fine to have at the moment. I get them from my doctor. I'm just so scared that I'm going to end up relying on them, and that will leave me feeling out of control and with feelings that I can't cope. I'm pretty good at not taking them all the time, and I have periods of time where I don't take them. So, Holly, I think, again, this is one of those cases where you see it, you know what's going on here, but, sometimes we just need a reminder. Sometimes it's helpful for someone else to tell us and someone else to kind of uh, reiterate for us or confirm for us that we're right. So it's so it's so right here in your question. Your first line, you say, I'm struggling with a scary story that seems to appear whenever I'm feeling anxious. And I just want you to pause for a minute and really look at what these words, look at what you said, what you wrote, look at the truth in that. What you're struggling with is not an addiction problem, not feeling out of control, not should I take the pills or not. What you're struggling with is a scary story, period. Scary story that is scary, but it's a story. And you say it comes up when you're feeling anxious, which is also so huge. I mean, I know we know this, we get it, we live it, right? We feel anxious, scary stories come up, we feel calm, they go away. We all live in this, but really take a minute to see that the scary stories, if this were true or something that, was here to really get your attention in a helpful way, if it were something you kind of deeply believed, if it were any of that, why would it only be here when a bunch of anxiety is all shaken up? And we can flip that and kind of see it the other way. When our mind is all shaken up, when we're full of anxiety, when we're feeling that way, the definition of that, like the definition of anxiety, is that our mind gets very creative making up scary stories, making up stories that scare us. And they do feel real. And they talk about you and they bring in your past and they paint pictures of the future. They have a lot of feeling of reality to them, but it's curious, isn't it, that they only come up when your mind's going 100 miles an hour. And then you get all caught up in them and they look really scary. And then when your mind settles down, and again, you say it, Holly, really clearly, when I come back to my default place of calm, clarity, and wisdom, I see that it's all habitual, very believable stories that keep me stuck. I would take out the keep me stuck part. So just say, that you see when your mind settles down, that movie looks like a movie. It looks different. It just looks like a story. It's not keeping you stuck. It might happen and then you get caught up and then it goes away. And then it happens and you get caught up and it goes away, but you're not stuck. There's nothing to be stuck in. Your experience is always moving and changing and ebbing and flowing through you all the time. There is no stuckness. There's just your mind maybe saying, this shouldn't be happening anymore. When is this story going to go away? When is this scary movie going to stop playing? And I get that because that's how a mind talks. A mind gets up above it and wants to say, this should be happening. This shouldn't be happening. I don't care if I'm anxious. I shouldn't be having that story. But that's not how it works. Like the definition of feeling all keyed up is we have a bunch of scary stories going around. So you see that? That's our mind comes in and decides how it should all work. And that's where the problem is. It's not that anything's going wrong. It's not that you're feeling anything you shouldn't be feeling, Holly. or that there's an actual problem. It's perhaps that our mind comes in after and says, I shouldn't be feeling that, and we believe that too, but that's a thought as well, you know? So I want you to just see if you can kind of back up, zoom out from all of it, take the content out. So the story gets you a little, the story's sticky. The story's about addiction and what the pills mean and all the images and memory, old memories, right? 11 years plus old memories. That's what's like the quicksand a little bit. Leave all that content off to the side. And what you're saying, Holly, in this message that you sent me is my mind revs up, it paints really scary images, and I believe them. And I feel afraid when I believe them. Of course, me too. When this settles down, then my mind settles down, and I see, oh, that was just a scary image. And it doesn't look like a problem anymore. Of course, me too, right? Like that's how it goes. I want you to keep it kind of at that level. We get revved up, we get let go. We feel anxious. We don't believe what we think when we're anxious. It's going to be all over the place. It's going to be full of detail and feel very true. But you know that when your mind settles down, it's going to look very different. So it's more of like looking at that process. Revved up, bunch of scary stuff. It's going to look different. And then you settle down and, oh, what do you know? It looks different from this place. That's what we want to see. This isn't about Holly and taking Valium or any of that. That's where when you get the details out of it a little bit, you get to see how simple this is and how human it is what you're feeling, and that there really is no problem with it. You just want to see it clearly, and then it's just, and then it's just you feeling stuff. So I hope that helps. Um, hope that helps. Keep it really simple. You are so onto it. I think you just need a little reminder, little confirmation. And I want you to keep really looking in the direction of what I share about how our experience works, because it'll help with the pressure and the anxiety and all of that kind of stuff. It'll help. It'll really change the way things look the more you keep looking. So please do. So thank you so much, Holly, for sending your question. Thanks everyone for listening. Send your questions about anything at all. I'd love to get them. Whatever's on your mind, send it my way at AskAmy at thelittleschoolofbigchange.com. And I'll see you back here next Monday. Thanks everyone.